I'm 78 now, and I didn't think I would end up here, asking permission to spend my own money. It sounds small when I say it like that. Just money. Just a card I can't use anymore without calling someone first. But it's not small. It's the feeling that comes with it, like I've been quietly moved out of my own life. I wasn't always like this. I used to run a house, keep accounts in my head, stretch one salary into school fees and groceries and a little something for Eid. I knew where every rupee went. I knew what mattered. Now I wait for someone to answer my calls. I'm not telling you this because I want sympathy. I don't have much use for that anymore. I'm telling you because I didn't see it happening while it was happening. It came in slowly, so slowly I thought it was kindness. And maybe it was at the beginning. When I was younger, 20s, 30s, I didn't think much about old age. I had 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. My husband worked long hours and I stayed home, though stayed isn't the right word. I was always moving, cooking, cleaning, helping with homework, stitching clothes to save money. The days were full and I liked it that way. We didn't have much, but we managed. I remember counting coins at the end of the month, deciding whether to buy fruit or save it for electricity. I remember saying no to things I wanted so the children could say yes. At the time, it didn't feel like sacrifice. It felt normal. That's just what mothers do, isn't it? My husband used to say, "One day when the kids grow up, we'll rest." I believed him. I thought there would be a time when the house would be quiet in a peaceful way, not this kind of quiet. He passed away when I was 56. It was sudden, a heart attack. He left in the morning like any other day, and by afternoon, people were gathering in the house, speaking in low voices. I didn't understand at first. I kept waiting for someone to tell me it was a mistake. After that, everything changed. But also, nothing did. The house was still there. The children were still there. But the weight of decisions shifted onto me completely. I managed. I had to. I handled the bank work, the bills, the repairs. I learned things I had never needed to know before. It was difficult, but there was a kind of strength in it too. I remember thinking, I can do this. The children were grown by then, but not settled. One was still studying, the others were finding their way. Years passed like that. They got jobs, they married. Slowly the house began to empty. First one room, then another. I told myself this was how it was supposed to be. When my eldest son first suggested I move in with him, I refused. I said, I'm fine here. And I was, mostly. I had my routine. I had neighbors I knew. I had my memories in those walls. But he insisted, not forcefully, gently. Amy, it's not safe for you to live alone. What if something happens? We'll feel better if you're with us. It sounded reasonable. I agreed, thinking it would be temporary, just for a while. I packed a few things, clothes, some photos, my husband's watch. I locked the door of my house and handed the key to my son for safekeeping. I didn't know then that I would never unlock that door again. Living with them was different. They had their own routines, their own way of doing things. I tried not to interfere. I stayed in my room more than I used to. I didn't want to be a burden. At first, they were very attentive. My daughter-in-law would ask what I wanted to eat. My son would check on me before leaving for work. It felt like care. Then small changes began. Amy, let me handle your bank work. It's too much for you. I hesitated. I had been handling it for years. But he said it with concern, not control. So I agreed. He took my documents, my ATM card. I'll keep it safe, he said. I didn't ask for it back. Why would I? He was my son. After that, if I needed money, I would ask him. It felt strange at first, but I told myself it was just practical, easier. Then it became normal. Days turned into months, months into years. I stopped keeping track of things. I didn't know how much was in my account anymore. I didn't know what was being spent or saved. It didn't seem important. What was I going to spend it on? That's what I told myself. But it wasn't really about spending. It was about something else, something I didn't have a name for at the time. There were other small changes. Ami, don't go out alone. It's not safe. Ami, you might forget the way. Ami, just rest. We'll take care of everything. Each sentence sounded like love. Each one took something away. I stopped going to the market. I stopped visiting old friends. At first, it was because it was easier not to argue. Then it became habit. People stopped calling after a while. Or maybe I stopped answering. Time passed quietly. I would sit by the window in the afternoons, watching people go about their day. I used to be one of them. Now I was just watching. One day I asked my son about my house. I said maybe we should go and check on it. He looked uncomfortable. Ami, we sold it last year. I didn't understand. Sold it? Yes, it was just sitting there. We used the money for some investments. It's better this way. Better. I nodded like I understood, like I had agreed to it. Maybe I had in some way, by not asking, by not insisting, by trusting that things would stay the same. That was the moment something inside me shifted. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly, like a door closing. After that, I began to notice things I hadn't before. How decisions were made without me. How conversations would stop when I entered the room. How I was included in a polite way, but not really involved. I wasn't part of the household. I was being kept in it. There's a difference. I didn't say anything. What would I say? That I felt like a guest in my own life? That I missed having a key? Years went by like this. My health started to decline. Nothing serious at first, just the usual things that come with age. A little weakness, some forgetfulness. Then one winter I fell in the bathroom. It wasn't a big fall, but it scared them. After that, they became more careful, too careful. They moved me to a smaller room, closer to theirs. They removed things they thought might be dangerous. They started checking on me more often. I should have felt cared for, but I felt watched. Then came the conversation. Ami, we've been thinking. Maybe it's better if you stay somewhere where there are professionals, people who can look after you properly. I knew what he meant. I had heard about these places. I said no at first. Of course I did. But they kept talking, gently, reasonably. It's for your safety. You'll have people your own age. We'll visit you all the time. It sounded like concern, just like before. I agreed. What else could I do? They brought me here a few months later. The room is clean. The people are polite. Everything is fine. That's the word everyone uses. Fine. There are other women here, some older than me, some younger. We sit together sometimes, but most of us don't talk much. We're all carrying our own thoughts. Sometimes I look around and wonder how many of us thought this would never happen to us. How many of us handed over small pieces of our lives, one by one, thinking it didn't matter. I don't blame my children completely. That would be easier in a way. They didn't wake up one day and decide to take everything from me. It happened gradually, through concern, through convenience, through my own silence. I made it easy. I trusted that love would be enough to protect me. I thought being a good mother meant not holding on too tightly, not questioning, not making things difficult. I thought there would always be time to speak up later. There wasn't. What's gone is not just the house, not just the money. It's the sense of belonging, the feeling that I had a place that was mine, that I could decide something, even something small, without asking. You don't notice how important that is until it's gone. Now, when I want something, I still reach for my bag out of habit. Then I remember, there's nothing there. I have to call. Sometimes I don't call. Sometimes I just sit with the feeling and let it pass. It's quieter that way. If you're listening to me, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I don't think it works like that. But I will tell you what I wish I had understood. Care can look like control if you don't pay attention. And control doesn't always arrive loudly. It comes in small, reasonable steps. Let me help you with that. You don't need to worry about this anymore. I'll take care of it. Each sentence feels like relief. Until one day, there's nothing left that's yours to take care of. I wish I had kept a little more for myself. Not in a selfish way, just enough to remain present in my own life. A key, a card, a decision, something. Because once you give all of that away, it's very hard to ask for it back. And by the time you realize you need it, people will look at you with surprise, as if you're asking for something unreasonable. I don't have much time left. I can feel that in my body now. The days are shorter, even when they're long. I've made my peace with many things, but not this. This still sits with me, not as anger, just as a quiet understanding of how easily a life can shift, of how love without boundaries can slowly turn into something else. If I could go back, I wouldn't change everything. I would still love them the same. I would still give, just not all of it, not all at once. I would leave a small part untouched for myself. Now I sit by the window here, much like I used to at my son's house. People pass by outside. I don't know them. They don't know me. That's all right. There's a kind of acceptance that comes with age. Not peace, not really, just acceptance. This is where I am. This is what's left. And this is what I wanted to say before I couldn't say it anymore.